Bonjour, je suis très heureux d'être ici. The interesting thing is that there was always a passion for coaching and teaching and learning. So even through my playing career, it was something that I always felt was going to take its course. I started in men's football, have been pretty much mainly in men's football until I got an opportunity in Australia to coach a regional select team in women's football, and I just found the learning processes, I found the teaching, I found the ability to develop and grow was fantastic in the women's game, and as we see now, the growth of the women's game has been phenomenal in regards to obviously the level of professionalism, the commercialization, the interest, and it's just been absolutely fantastic to be part of that. I did go back into men's football at Melbourne City as an assistant coach for the men's, so I've done a little bit of both, which I think has helped my career. The learning processes both at Melbourne and Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory, especially Melbourne City, obviously being part of the global City Group, which is an important brand. Well, first of all, it's about success, it's about performance, it's about creating amazing athletes. But the biggest thing for me was building the team from scratch. Effectively, the women's team didn't exist. We were given a franchise. And from day one, it was about building a team that was going to be successful and setting the standard for professionalism in women's football in Australia. The great thing about that template is it's sort of now being used as a template for a lot of clubs. They use what we did at Melbourne City as a template for the growth of the game, and it was very special to be part of that. We went through the league undefeated. We won the championship and the premiership, doubled that up in the second year, and then went on to bigger and better things. But it was an amazing project. Well, the experiences in Australia definitely set you up for bigger and better things, because Australia isn't a football culture. We don't have the clubs, the jobs, the opportunities that exist in Europe, and I suppose like every coach and every player, they dream to be in the top leagues in Europe, and obviously the opportunity to go to Arsenal then came on the back of the Melbourne City experience, and Arsenal was a great brand and a great project also. Yeah, look, the development of the WSL and the professionalisation of the league and the commercialisation of the league in the UK has been something phenomenal for it to have grown so quickly. But it's really about women's football and the growth of women's football. Speaking to a couple of people within clubs, they're getting fans that have never gone to watch a men's game. So it's becoming its own product. It's becoming a brand on its own, women's football. And I think that's starting to now filter out within Europe. A lot of females want to play football. They see the pathway, they see the development, they see the professionalism. And obviously it's great to be involved in it. The biggest thing in terms of inspiring through women's football is that you have amazing role models. You have now the possibility to make a career out of being a women's footballer. And then with that, the club's professionalisation, the job availability, and it's becoming a brand on its own, which I really love. That we're now starting to look at other things in women's football, like the medical processes, the way we train, the way we go about certain things, the organisational structures, which I think is just that next step of growth. It's not just a bolt-on or an add-on of the men's team. It's now a standalone product, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it through the crowds, and we're seeing it through just the amazing stuff that happens on the pitch. Look, the experience at Juventus and the choice to go to Italy was a great one. I really enjoyed it. Juventus is a big brand. It's a brand similar, different ways obviously to OL in terms of it won 4 championships. It was the big brand in Italy, and the pressure was on from day one. And that project was to lift the status in European football. The great work that we did there was when I arrived, we were 33 in Europe, and we got to the top 8. So the idea was to get into the top 8 into Europe. And look, love the club. It was a great organisation, and are better for the experience. And again, a different type of project. You know, you have top performers, top athletes, great organisation, expectation, the pressure. So for me, it's I suppose a stepping stone from my career personally, but also the excitement and the opportunity to bring, I suppose, something a little bit different to a club that's already achieved a lot. It's achieved everything, and a lot of people saying, what more can you achieve? I think there's a lot more to achieve. I think it's, first of all, in terms of the organisation and the changes, I think is a really exciting time for the club. But the biggest thing I want to bring is an exciting brand of football. I want the team to play the best football in Europe. Not that it hasn't, it's played at a different level or a different style, but the opportunity to bring in an exciting brand, a proactive brand, a style of football that will just excite and bring fans out to the game is something I think we can really bring to this amazing group. The processes, the stimulation of the players, wanting to achieve more, wanting to set different goals is an important thing of having big players and having a big brand. I think it's exciting because it challenges everyone every day, and that's what a top team, a team that's always won needs. It needs new challenges, it needs new objectives and new goals that it wants to set. It's having a top team, having a solid squad, having a lot of top performers is a great challenge, but we have to now remember the amount of games that we play. A lot of the players are in the national team, so rotation or the ability to make sure we manage the loads very, very well for that game is so important. Setting them goals, setting them the opportunity to be that 5% better, that 3% better, that little bit of detail to be better, I think is something that's going to be really, really exciting for this team. I want them to be free. I want them to be creative. I want them to be, to be able to express themselves and really take that next level. But it's an exciting challenge that I think a lot of these top professionals are really looking forward to, because they have to manage both, the Champions League, the league, their national teams. So there's a lot of football, and modern teams that are at the top have to have a solid squad and have to have an abundance of top players. Look, the Champions League is for me the pinnacle of the sport that we play. Excitement, top teams, the best against the best, great exposure, but great football. And I've been fortunate enough to have been in all different scenarios in the Champions League. Getting Arsenal back into the Champions League after 8 years, and then taking them, to a quarterfinals and very close to a semi-finals. Juventus, I think a lot of the OL fans will remember the Juventus experience a few years ago. And as I said before, just to repeat, we got it. The whole idea was to get the ranking of a team that probably isn't prepared for Champions League football. It was trying to get to that level, so we built that structure. So I know what it's all about. I know what finals are about, and Champions League are moments. Champions League are the team that takes that moment at the right time in the right scenario. I've been in many cup finals where we've had to win in the last minute, or we've had to just ride out the storm, or so from my perspective, I don't think I'm looking forward to anything more but the Champions League, and keeping this team at the top of the Champions League, playing a great brand of football and winning. Describing myself as a coach is not easy, because I don't like talking about myself. So it's not an easy scenario. But first of all, I like to empower people. I like to give people the opportunity to be the best that they can be. That's probably the first thing that I start with. My leadership qualities are that. I want everyone to understand the culture, where they're at, the importance of and the privilege of who they are and what they've done, but also empower people and give them the freedom to be the best that they can be. So I have a very collaborative, communicative way of working, and it's worked well for me. It's worked well because the important thing for me is I want everyone to be, when they're driving or cycling or walking to work, to be saying another great day at the office, another great day of working, and another great day of being the best that I can be. And I think this organisation does empower that. I think this organisation demands that everyone is the best that they can be, and to do it in a respectful, humble, integral way, I think is the key to all that. Well, look, I mean, the arrival here today has been one which I must admit I'm still a little bit wow to be in this great club and to be part of this great organisation and to meet some fantastic people. I think you know, to be given this privilege, to be part of something really, really special, but not what it's done, to be also to embrace the history, to embrace what has happened, but to bring it into new heights and to bring it to another level. For me, there's a real honour to be part of this, and hopefully to leave something, to bring something that's a little bit special and different. It's a beautiful city, Lyon. So far I've only had positive experiences. If we want to talk specifically about the team and the world-class players, I mean, that's what I'm excited about, to really have dialogue and to really talk about talk with a lot of these superstars who have had some fantastic experience, and really to understand where they want to go in their career, but also to make them understand the privilege and who they are and what they've given to the game as role models and as amazing athletes. So we can roll off many names, and I would probably be wrong in rolling off one or two names, but the other part of this great project is the youth development. I've seen a lot of the OL youth teams play, especially when I was at Juventus, because we used to play a lot against the youth teams, and to see that development and to see the processes going through. I mean, you know, you've got Béchot, you've got Sombath, who are two fantastic players, already had UCL experiences, already had some top experiences both with national teams, who I'm really excited to work with. So that younger batch, that younger generation, I really want to be able to give them some good information, some good processes, make them feel part of the program, and make them feel that they are part of an important direction. So it's twofold. Yeah, working with the top players, I can't wait, but working with the younger batch of players, I think, is really exciting. Yeah, it was, I had to think twice when I had to work with DVD again. But DVD's a special person, a special character. She just makes work, coming to work, exciting every day, because she's always engaged, always professional, always ready to have a bit of a joke. But she's infectious in regards to, you know, what she gives to the team, and I'm looking forward to catching up with DVD again. And we had some great times at Arsenal, but I'm looking forward to some even more exciting times at OL. Pre-season's an interesting one because they differ, and if I were to be honest, we've had many different experiences. You know, World Cup last year on the other side of the world, and players arriving late the year before the Euros. So every pre-season at every organisation that you work at has a different and special sort of scenario. But the most important thing is we've obviously got the Olympic Games, and we've got a lot of players at the Olympic Games. So we need to manage that return later on, and working with a lot of the national teams to make sure that the health and well-being of the players is fundamental for their return in August. The biggest one now is obviously from the last game in the Champions League to now. There's been a big break, and a deserved break for a lot of these players, because I know a lot of them have been, you know, with national teams and haven't had a break in the June-July period. So for some of them, an important break. We will bring the group that is not involved in the Olympics, plus a good batch of the younger players, in next week, to just give them a top-up, to get them ready for the launch in August, which is exciting. But it gives me also an opportunity to work with the new staff, to work with the new organisation, get some processes in place. So from my perspective, it's a great start and an important start. But again, managing pre-season in whatever situation is always very tricky. But the most important thing is the health, the well-being, and the mental state of the players when they return, and obviously getting them in a condition to go. we get a good 6-7 weeks, so we'll have a good pre-season. Winning all competitions is part of my DNA. Every club that I approach, every competition has to be respected. Every competition has to be taken for the same seriousness and importance, because that's what we do. We want to win trophies. We want to win games, so from my perspective, every job that I've always approached has always had the importance of every competition. Juventus, we won the treble in the first year, never done. Arsenal, we won the championship and cup competitions, and we always made the cup final. I think there was 2 cup finals that I didn't make in the 4 years that I was there. So within the League Cup or the FA Cup, we were always there, always there. They need to be respected. They're good opportunities also to understand your squad management, to understand when to play players. So for me, it's normal that we, as a club, go in to win everything. I know it's a normal thing here, and it's normal in my DNA. Oui, parler français is the biggest challenge for me. I've made a couple of promises, and you know, je vais bientôt parler français.